It's working. Has it worked? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Oh my God, I've just had a meltdown. Can you see me? Someone tell me in the chat quickly if you can see me or hear me. Oh God, maybe not. Maybe you can't. I don't know if you can see me or hear me. Oh my goodness, I've had an absolute meltdown here. I don't think you can. Yes, you can see me. Thank God for that. This is not a good angle at all. But for some reason, I'd set it all up earlier and it was fine. And for some reason, I put it on my computer down in the office because the light is better there, where it worked perfectly reasonably and perfectly well 2 weeks ago. And would it work this morning? No, it bloody wouldn't, would it? Oh, very, very stressful. I don't like being late. Apologies for being late. I need to lift you up onto something because I don't like this angle. Oh, I was so organised. I had all my notes and everything in the office. Actually, we could walk to the office, couldn't we? And I could plug you in there. Let's do that. I'm going to unplug you here and then we can go down to the office. The signal is better there as well. Sorry, you're going to be wobbly for a bit. Don't get seasick. Oh, my goodness me. Yes. Oh, yeah, I had all my notes ready and all what we're going to chat about. Sorry, it's gone a bit dark. And it just wouldn't work. I thought it said going live, but it just never worked. So that was all a bit stressful. Anyway, good morning. I will sit down and then I will go through the chat because that would be good, wouldn't it, if the battery went flat. And the charger's all twisted up now. Stressy, stress. Right, now we need something higher. Actually, we'll just go with this. You can stay down there low because I have nothing to balance you on, I don't think. Hang on, just let me look. Actually, that might do. Back in a sec. That's probably going to be too tall. Christ, it's nearly falling off the desk. It's a disaster of unparalleled severity. Just stay there a minute. You see, when I did it 2 weeks ago, I hadn't done a live stream for ages. There we are. That's better. That's the right angle. As someone was saying, and breathe, Caroline. Yes, absolutely. I need to breathe. Yeah, I hadn't done a live for ages and ages, and it's all changed since I last did a live stream. The way you go into the back end of it, basically. And yeah, they've changed it all. And when I did it 2 weeks ago, it seemed so easy and so simple. And now it just didn't work this morning. There was no reason for it not working. I hate that, don't you? When you do exactly the same as you've done something before and just for some reason it won't work. Anyway, good morning, everybody. There's a lot of you in the chat already. That is lovely. Let me go up to the top. It's going to keep jumping down. And actually, I'm not going to do individual good mornings, I think, because there's a lot of you and I'll get all muddled up with it and even more breathless than I am already, which is ridiculous, isn't it? Honestly. So, how's everybody's weekend been? Have we all had a nice weekend? Mine was very nice. Same. I'm getting a bit to the end of my tether with this lockdown now. Aren't you? Is everybody feeling like this? It feels like it's just gone on for the longest time. And what I wanted to talk about today was really, it's a year now since we went into lockdown, and I started my daily live lockdown or coronavirus or COVID or whatever daily videos on the 17th of March last year, St. Patrick's Day, and I didn't envision that a year later we would still be here. Happy birthday for yesterday, Liz. Yeah, a year on, here we are, and I was watching back some of my videos from those very early days of lockdown, sort of just reflecting back on where we were a year ago. And Do you know what I mean when I say it feels like the longest time since then, but also a relatively short time? It feels like such a long time. Karen Fraser had her jab yesterday and all her joints have been hurting. My brother had his jab and his wife as well yesterday, their first jab. They had the AstraZeneca one and they both had sort of mild temperatures overnight type of thing. So I think a lot of people get sort of aches and pains with that one by the sounds of it. Why don't you spend more time with your dad, stay and care for him whilst he is here? Very strange thing to say. Kirsten, if you're in, I saw you were there earlier. Can you get rid of that person, please? I don't really want to be asked that sort of question. A whole year since you were last in the office. Well, where did that go? That's amazing, isn't it, Melanie? I think this. I feel like it's in some ways gone so quickly. But then I was reflecting back as well on. Thank you, Kirsten. Sorry, that's why I don't like doing lives. I was reflecting back as well on how I was feeling at that time. And you do forget with time, don't you, that how frightening it was at the time. It was, I talked about in some of the videos having this low level anxiety all the time that was nothing that I could put my finger on, but it was just a really weird feeling of unease and being out of control and just a real strange feeling that I'd never had before, and it was the first time I'd felt genuinely frightened and a lack of control of my life and everything that was going on around me. And I'm quite a control freaky person. I'm sure you're all amazed by that. Not, but it's it felt very out of control and frightening. And I was talking a little bit about all the stockpiling that was going on the empty supermarket shelves and all that sort of thing. And reflecting back on that now, you can sort of understand that why people did that and how that mentality sort of came about. It gave people a sense of control to know that they had food and supplies for them and their families in such uncertain times. So I was thinking a little, I was talking to Ashley about that yesterday as well. And reflecting back on it now, I feel kinder about all the stockpiling and, empty supermarket shelves than I did at the time. The sleeping as well was another thing. I was sleeping so badly. If I got 3 or 4 hours a night, that was like a good night, and I would wake up with this just nothing I could put my finger on, but just a sense of impending doom. And I've just seen something Mandy said. I hated the daily updates and figures, but I watched them nevertheless. I know exactly what you mean by that, Mandy. That 5 o'clock briefing every day they were doing, weren't they, at the very beginning? And it felt like a little bit of comfort, although it was terrifying, and seeing more and more cases and more people in hospital and dying, and just awful. Just having a little bit of comfort from those. I took a bit of comfort from the daily briefings. I don't know really why, because it was all really, dreadful information coming out of them, but just knowing there was someone there trying to make things better. And another thing that I talked about a lot in those initial, feelings of dread, Melanie, exactly that. I could imagine what my grandparents went through during the war. It's really interesting you compare it to the war, because I was thinking a similar thing about, sorry, I just lost my thread on what I was talking about, the previous thing now. However bad it's been for us, it's made me reflect a lot on how women in the war coped, knowing their sons were with the lack of communication, it's not like we've got now. I mean, now I get anxious if William doesn't reply to my Facebook Messenger message for an hour. Where is he? What's wrong? Imagine sending your son off to potentially the other side of the world, the other side of the English Channel, uh, anywhere, and not having any method of contact, and not knowing if they were dead or alive. I mean, that's just horrific, isn't it? You cannot, and your daughters as well, not just sons, but it was sons at the time, wasn't it? But I just can't even imagine how those people lived through that. It must have been horrific. But yeah, absolutely, a war would have been way, way worse. So someone's just said they're starting a new job tomorrow. I mean, you behind everyone, starting a new job tomorrow from home and have been ordering loungewear. Good luck with your new job. I hope it goes well. That's great. Someone else said that they have I think it was Liz, said she's got a 16-year-old baby, toddler now, I guess. I really feel sorry for people who have had their first kids during this strange year as well. I think the lack of, I remember when I first had William, and just being able to get out and connect with other people was an absolute lifeline. I think reflecting back, I probably had a little bit of postnatal depression, really. I struggled a lot in those first months, and lack of sleep mostly, little bugger, he never slept at all. Dreadful. No wonder I never had another one. Yeah, I feel like sorry, lost my thread again now. Honestly, that's stressful getting started. It's just thrown me. Ridiculous. Yeah, the having a new baby, or your first baby, and being trapped in the house, and the social distancing thing, and not being able to go and see people and connect with other young mums and people with babies. I think that must just have been so hard, really hard. My twin daughters were 3 months old when we went into the first lockdown. How have you found that, Viv? Have you been all right? Are you okay? I take my hat off to you. I think that's amazing that you've got through it. And everybody homeschooling kids as well. I can't imagine that. Yeah. Jill, I am furloughed from working in an airport and not going back until the 1st of June at the moment. They've said again over the weekend, haven't they, about foreign travel being less likely this year. And yeah, I feel like it's all very up in the air at the moment, isn't it? I suppose the thing that we're concentrating on at the moment is the vaccine rollout and getting that done. And God, they've done amazingly again this weekend with that, haven't they? 800 and something thousand on Saturday, was it? Andrea, good morning from Brazil, where things are in crisis and getting worse. 1 in 4 of all COVID deaths worldwide are in Brazil. God, I'm so sorry, Andrea. That's awful. It must be so worrying for you. So many milestone birthdays in my family that we couldn't celebrate, Linda. That's so sad, isn't it? Yeah, I feel like so much has been lost this year, hasn't it? I mean, I don't want to, as I said, the war years must have been so much more terrible, and we were lucky, the vast majority of us, I assume, not to have lived through that. But so much has been lost, hasn't it? The proms and the leaving school and the kids going to university and having their first experience away from home and changing schools, and just so much for the youngsters. I'm going to be so happy for them. Not so bad for us, I feel like, although people of my age who live by themselves. I know Mandy's in the chat. She lives alone. So hard. So hard. Lots of people said that my videos have helped. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Honestly, they've helped me as well. Having something to focus on during the lockdowns has been invaluable. I don't know how I would have managed without work and without YouTube. It's so nice to be able to have still done it. And reflecting back on the 3 lockdowns, they've all been quite different for me, because the first one, Ashley was home as well. He wasn't working. We went into that very first lockdown. People were worried about their life. I talked about it in one of my first daily videos, that so worried about money and what we were going to do. Ashley was going to have to shut his business down. I was intending to carry on with eBay, and I have carried on with eBay all the way through, but eBay doesn't pay our bills, you know. And before this Chancellor announced all the help for businesses and self-employed people, it was really scary times, not knowing how long it was going to go on. That was another thing. And I can't remember what point I was making about that now. That was going to be something that went into a different point. But reflecting back now, tell me what you think about this, because this is something I don't know. Someone's postponed her wedding 3 times. Her daughter, God, that's somebody I watch on YouTube said the other day. I'm not going to say who it was because I don't want to embarrass or anything, but she said the other day that her daughter's gone to St. Lucia to get married, and is that a thing? It was only like a couple of weeks ago. I didn't know if it was a video that she pre-recorded from a long time ago, but I was. Yeah, thank you, Kirsten. I was saying each lockdown has been different. The first one, Ashley and William were at home with me. Ashley had to shut his business down. He was at home all the time until they restarted the property market in, was it mid-May? So he was at home for a couple of months. William was at home. And almost as soon as we went into lockdown, we had that gorgeous weather, didn't we? And that was sort of a bit of a lifeline, really. And we were doing all the things, and we have fun Saturday nights, and we dressed up, and we had a campfire in the garden one night, twice actually we did that, and barbecues and all sorts of different things, and we grew stuff in the garden. I say we, I went out and supervised and pointed at where I wanted plants putting in. Ashley and William did more gardening. And reflecting back on that, it seems quite easy now, although it was the main feeling in that lockdown was the unsureness and everything, and as I've touched on, you know, the lack of control and all of that stuff. And then, sorry, I'll come back to the chat in a minute. If I read the chat, I lose my thread. And then we had the second, look, we all got back to normal a bit during the summer, and Ash and I were lucky enough to go to Greece on holiday and have a week there, which was lovely. And but most of us managed to see our families a little bit and all of that sort of thing. And then, of course, winter came and it got worse again. And then we had that pre-Christmas 4-week lockdown in November, didn't we? And that was, Ashley was still at work, William was still at uni. It was only 4 weeks. It didn't feel that bad. It felt quite doable, and we had that sort of carrot dangled in front of us, didn't we? Of that, you know, just do this, and then you can have the Christmas that we've promised you, and it will all be good, you know. And I'm absolutely not slagging off the government for saying that at all. You know, they have had to react to a changing situation, and I personally don't feel that I could have done a better job, so it's not really my place to criticise. But yeah, they gave that 4-week lockdown. It felt like almost nothing looking back at it. It just sort of came and went, that one. And then sort of immediately after New Year, without even having had the Christmas that we was kind of hoping that we could have, we were back into this lockdown. And this time it's just been the grinding tedium and the winter and the cold and just the getting through the days. And I really have turned into a person now, and I think I'm not alone in this. Other people talk about this as well, that the less you do, the less you want to do, and just feel like I'm achieving so much less than I was this time last year. But that's okay. It just is what it is, isn't it? But oh, thank you, Crystal. That's very kind of you. Yeah, so that was the 3 lockdowns, really, and I just feel like I'm crawling on my hands and knees to the ends of this one, desperate for things to get back to some sort of normal, some sort of, just some sort of normal. That's what I'm craving, really. Which I don't know if I don't know when it will be normal. They're talking about all restrictions being lifted by June. I feel quite sceptical of that, if I'm honest. I really do. Introverts have enjoyed the lockdown. Well, do you know what, Barbara? I was thinking this morning, I actually enjoy my own company. I am very happy by myself. I've always been someone who's enjoyed my own company, but my God, I've had enough of myself at this point. I just want someone else to talk to. Just desperate. Kirsten made a website and it's getting visibility that is the problem. Kirsten's website, Kirsten, tell us what it is. Is it kirstenscuriosities.com or .co.uk? Kirsten sells lovely things. If you watch my Vlogmas, there was a bit when I went to, when we were allowed out, I went to visit Kirsten in her shop in Ottery St Mary in Devon, and she's got a curiosity shop full of lovely, lovely things, all sorts of unusual and eclectic and collectible things, some new things, and she has candles as well, lovely candles. And she's obviously not been able to have her shop open because it is, I'm just www.kirstenscuriosities.com. And obviously she had to be closed, and she's made this website. I'm just in awe of her making a website, really. I think that's very impressive. I can't even go live on YouTube without a massive meltdown. So yeah, if you want to go and have a look at Kirsten's lovely things, please go and visit her website. I will, after I've finished here, I will link it in the description box below. So right, let me go back through some of this chat. Now I'm on my laptop, it's more difficult to whiz up and down the chat because I haven't got an oh, you're all talking too quickly. I haven't got a proper mouse. I've only got this mouse. If you want to ask any questions, can you type them out in capitals for me so I see them as they whiz past? It's just easier to pick them out. Sarah Jane's World, my granddad died, during the pandemic, and I'm struggling to do it. I'm so sorry. The funeral was like no other, and I wasn't allowed to go to the hospital to say goodbye. Do you know what, Sarah Jane? I'm so sad. Sorry, that's just so sad. And you know, I'm sitting here talking and moaning about lockdown. I do appreciate, and although I don't say it as much as I probably should or make it clear, I'm so grateful that really all I've had to contend with is a lockdown and not, you know, members of my family dying or having COVID or, you know, all the other things, awful things that have happened to people during this time, and never let me make out that I've had terrible troubles during. Do you feel like you feel things more? I feel like I get more sad about sad things now than I did a year ago. Feel like sad things really. Red relaxer cat just weed on my carpet behind me. Tell your cat he's a very naughty boy, Anne-Marie. That's terrible. Oh, Shelley, how are you? I've just seen Shelley's in there. I've been watching your post-tummy tuck vlogs. Put me off wanting to have a tummy tuck. Kath Eames. Kath, have I told you that is my maiden name? I was Caroline Eames before I was married. I don't know. Leslie's got to go back to work now, keeping the country in orange juice. You've been working all the way through, Leslie, haven't you? And you missed out on your holiday in Devon. Hopefully you'll get that this year. Yeah, I feel I've had some news that someone, not somebody that I know well at all, but somebody that a friend of a member of my family, passed away this morning. And I won't tell you the circumstance. He was very old. He was 96, so he'd lived a long and happy life. But you can't, there are, that's not, I'm saying it's okay to die when you're 96, but it just made me feel so sad, and I'm sure I wouldn't have felt that level of sadness. Joan, I cry at the drop of a tea bag these days. Yeah, honestly, things on television, people on breakfast telly who are telling a sad story who I wouldn't have given 2 minutes of thought to, a year ago. Here I am, almost crying my heart out for them. And yeah, really. Hi, Debbie, and I'm a new subscriber having severe depression before lockdown certainly hasn't helped, but thank you, Caroline, for being so jolly all most of the time. I do my best. I do my best. Um, yeah, I think one of the saddest things was people not being able to go to hospitals to say goodbye to their loved ones. I think that's really, um, yeah, really just the saddest thing. Um, yeah. I wanted to talk as well. Actually, let me tell you first. I'll tell you a funny, it's not particularly a funny story, but sometimes on YouTube I get strange comments, and quite often they're on old videos that someone has obviously been searching for something and found it. And this particular one was on my video that I did of my cruise, my transatlantic cruise on the Queen Mary not last December, the one before. And I quite often get random comments on that. People are obviously searching for cruise videos and they come across it. And someone said, "Thank you for this video. It was very informative. My dream in life, or my greatest dream, is to go on the Queen Mary on the transatlantic cruise, and as we go over the spot where the Titanic sank, to watch the Titanic movie on the balcony of my cabin." I just thought that was the most bizarre life list item to have. A bit weird, slightly weird, I thought. But yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? People, who knows? But yeah, close to tears watching all the protests around the world last night. Oh, I've got nothing good to say about the protests in Bristol, so I won't say anything. I feel quite sad that actually, so here I am going to say something. I feel like a lot of protests get hijacked by people who aren't particularly interested in the reasoning behind the protest, because the reasoning behind the protest was quite valid. But I think it's sort of people who just want to go and riot a lot of the time, which is a shame, isn't it? Because that becomes the headline rather than the reason for the protest. So now I've said something about the protest, haven't I? Rita's husband's been in hospital since January. Last week was the first time you got to see him. Oh, Rita, I'm so sorry. I do hope he's okay. I can't imagine. I thought that wouldn't help my travel anxiety. Yeah, absolutely. Very, very strange. Yeah. People are saying they don't watch the news anymore. I think I've talked about that a lot over the last year, how I've cut down my news consumption a lot. And even Ashley, who is the biggest news junkie, that he has cut down his news consumption massively. He watches more Australian opal hunting. Is that a thing? I don't know what the program's called, but it's people in Australia going out into the wilds and looking for opals. It strikes me as the same program again and again and again. Nothing different ever happens. They go into the countryside and find some opals and weigh them and talk about how much they're going to sell them for. To be fair, Ashley would say exactly the same about the Real Housewives. It's the same program every week. A load of women, middle-aged women, being dramatic and falling out with each other, which is fair comment, isn't it? But yeah, the news is something that I don't watch a lot of anymore. I get the headline. I have the BBC app on my phone and I get the headline. I like that because I can look at the headline thing. And I've also subscribed to a positive news email that comes once a week, and I really like that. It comes with positive news from around the world. Crystal Silverheart, I would like to travel around the UK in a camper van. We used to have a camper van many years ago, a turquoise Volkswagen one of the old-fashioned ones. We very much enjoyed going away in that. Did you watch Line of Duty? I did. I didn't watch it, and I'll tell you for why. Because I love Line of Duty. I binge watched, but Ashley and I came to it quite late and binge watched all the series about a year and a half ago. And I want to be able to watch them one after the other. I don't like it. The way we watch TV has changed so much, hasn't it? And I don't want to have to wait a week for a new episode. I want to try and watch it all one after the other. So yeah. Hi, Caroline. Have you seen the release of P&O Cruises today? A lady messaged me this morning on my Facebook telling me, yes, I knew it was happening because she messaged me on Saturday to tell me about it, and the release of the P&O Cruises where you don't get off the boat. I said to Ashley about 9 months ago, I reckon, or no, maybe September last year, that I reckon they'll do cruises where you don't go anywhere and you just stay on the boat. And Ashley said, no, don't be stupid. And I was right, wasn't I? Anyway, this lady who messaged me had to wait an hour and a half on the phone, and she got a booking on the Iona, which I think is the new P&O ship. I have to say, I am waiting to see what the cruise industry looks like before thinking about cruising again at the moment. Good morning, Dawn Gardner. It's 5 o'clock here. I missed most of it. We didn't start till late, Dawn, because I had technical issues. So, yeah, I'm going to do one, but tomorrow's live, I think I'm going to do at 4 o'clock in the afternoon so that some overseas people who it's the middle of the night for can watch if they're interested in doing so. So I thought I'd do that. I'm going to try and switch the times as we go through the week. I might even be on time tomorrow. I might be able to make it work. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Ruth Buchanan's on a wee lunch break. Have to go soon. Thank you for watching, Ruth. Have a good afternoon. Joan is waiting to watch Unforgotten. Yes, I'm waiting for that one as well, so I can binge watch it. I think they're up to episode 6 or something now. I don't know when it finishes, but yeah, we want to do the same. Unforgotten and Line of Duty, both great series, aren't they? Really like them. We've just finished Handmaid's Tale. We finished that on Friday. I think there's a new series of that coming out next month, isn't there? Kath, yeah, we were due to do The Fields this year. Obviously, that was cancelled. Oh, you're very welcome, Ruth. I can't whiz up and down the chat with my trackpad, so I will try and make it work tomorrow on the big computer so I can go up and down the chat and interact with more posts. But yeah, so I just thought I would tell you. God, I've lost the page in my notebook now. A lot of people did videos last year on YouTube, sort of towards the end of the first lockdown, saying things they'd learned from the pandemic, things they'd learned about themselves. And I remember thinking about doing it at the time, and I thought, do you know what? I feel like I actually feel like we won't be able to reflect back on this time and make sense of it for, I don't know, maybe 5 years, maybe a decade. I think when we look back at it and try and make sense of it, it will seem very different how living through it feels. However, I think I have learned some things from the pandemic, so I thought I'd just share some of them with you. And actually, it's random ramblings that I've written mostly. One of them I can't even read my writing. I was not drunk when I wrote this. Good Lord. Actually, some of them I've talked about already. One of them was, I like my own company, but not that much. And so true, isn't it? Shirley has enough toilet paper for 2 years. Good Lord. Good morning, Fiona Fraser. How are you? I've had to turn the volume up as the grumpy old man cat has kicked off. My cat is so vocal as he gets older. Really, he's become much more vocal. He even sat on my lap yesterday. I think he must be not the full ticket, because honestly, he hates me. He really doesn't like me, that cat, at all. What else have I learned? I learned that nothing is more important than my family. Just, yeah, your family is so important, and that I'd really go to the end of the earth for them. I think that's something that I learned. I think I knew that already, but it made me realise how precious and important our families are, and how being separated from them for periods of time is horrible and hard. And that, yeah, you're right, Carrie, family just is everything, isn't it? Mandy, I'd have been lost without my cats. Do you know, Mandy, I still miss my Reg every single day. It's been over a year now since he died, and I still absolutely miss him. Yeah, I really do. Bless him. 16 years he was with me. So, yeah, I think his brother misses him as well. Kirsten's hoping everyone heads to Devon on holiday. I think someone was saying that Cornwall is booked up for the whole summer already. I'm not surprised. Can you just say you love me and Ashley cooking together? Thank you, Debbie. We like making those videos. They're fun, but they're quite hard to edit. They're quite hard work in terms of the amount of time they take to film and to edit. But we're looking forward to doing the Ready Steady Cook one. I was going through all the comments, picking out the selections of ingredients. God, there's some hard ones. We haven't picked one yet, but yeah, we enjoy doing those. They're fun. What else? Yeah, I made a decision at the beginning of the pandemic where a lot of people in the first lockdown, a lot of people were mostly on Facebook, I have to say, on the local Facebook page. So I saw such and such doing this and they shouldn't have been doing that. And my next door neighbour did this. And I decided really early on to not allow myself to have an opinion on what other people were doing. And I think that's it's not a natural situation for me to be. I'm quite a critical person. It's not something I'm particularly proud of, but I'm naturally quite critical of other people, and if I see something I don't agree with, I'm not particularly pleased about it. And I made that decision. I said, I'm not gonna, if I see someone without a mask, it's not going to bother me. If I see big groups of people doing things they shouldn't be doing, I'm not going to let that bother me. People have just got to just need to worry about myself and my family. That's all I'm going to do. And I have managed to really do that. If I see someone without a mask, I don't think about it. I look the other way. It is not my job to please everybody else. And I'm so happy that I feel like it's done me good mentally to make that decision and to carry it through. It's really made a difference in terms of how I've reacted to other people and other things going on during the pandemic. Something else I've learned about myself is that mostly I am someone who follows rules. I will make an effort to follow rules as much as I can, but there is a point at which I will rebel. And I think for me, that point came when we were in a situation, I can't remember what month it was. I feel like it was towards the end of the summer, beginning of the autumn, but I don't know. When 2,000 people could go to a football match, but I couldn't have my best friend over for a socially distanced cup of coffee. And I know I had a chat in messages with somebody who's in the chat today about this. And that just, to me, that did not make sense. And so, yeah, I follow rules as much as I can for the greater good. But when the rules are clearly bullshit, I do have a little rebellion. So, yeah, I feel like... Sorry, just my coffee's going cold. I'm trying to drink it before it's completely stone cold. Those not wearing masks and coming close to you in the shops makes me mad. Yeah, I have to say, if people are not wearing masks, I would prefer if they stayed away from me. If anybody gets... That's the other thing, that we're so aware and attuned to this thing of not getting too close to people now, aren't we? I mean, I don't really go anywhere other than the supermarket. Nobody does, do they? But even out for my walks, I will walk to the other side of the path to avoid people. It just comes naturally now. And I wonder, even watching things on television, I was watching a film over the weekend, and so someone was in a bar and they leaned over the bar like this, really close like that, to talk to the barman, and their heads were like this close together. And I was like, oh my goodness, they're a bit close. Oh, germs, COVID, oh. And it's funny, isn't it, how quickly we got attuned to this social distancing. And I'm wondering, will it be easy to go back to normal? Do you think it would be easy for us to return to just not social distancing and just being. I guess it will if we switch that easily to social distancing. I guess we'll switch back once things get closer, get less. What am I trying to say? Once the rules disappear, once what am I trying to say here? You know what I mean. I know what I mean. I just can't say it. My brother has dementia and sometimes goes out without his mask. He has been thumbed. Oh, God, Joe, that's terrible. I think my dad forgets to put his mask on when he goes into church, but certainly they're all kind to him there. They know he has dementia. So, yeah. Well, also, I think if you have dementia, you are exempt if by the very nature of having dementia, I think, but I could be wrong. But I don't know. You should obviously wear a mask if you can, but I'm a touchy-feely person, but I don't think I'll go back to being that way. You see, I think I will. I'm a hugger, and I can't wait to hug everyone again. I really can't. Yeah, I'm using social distancing to my advantage. I'm going for certain people to stay back. Yeah, there is that stay away. Yeah, I know what you mean. I think we'll still be more cautious than before. Yeah, I feel like, yes, I do. I think I will always carry hand gel with me. I always have, never did before, but I'm very used to constantly gelling my hands while I'm out and about. And I think I will continue to carry hand gel with me. People just don't understand dementia. Yeah. I don't understand dementia, Sally, and my dad has it, you know. There are different types of dementia, aren't there? My dad has vascular dementia. I think this is a really interesting, I'm going to go way off point of the pandemic here, but vascular dementia is to do with the closing of the veins. And my dad, I can't remember how long ago, maybe like 15 years, I'm wanting to say 12, 15 years, had a triple heart bypass. Turned out to be a quadruple heart bypass, actually, when they got in there and saw what needed doing. But what was causing the problems in his heart was the same as what is now causing his vascular dementia. It's the veins, isn't it? From what I understand. I'm no medic. But we can keep people alive for longer than they would be by mending their heart, but then the problem goes to their mind, and we have this epidemic of dementia. And you know, it's all very well being able to fix people physically, but if they're going to spend years having Alzheimer's and dementia, you know what I'm saying. But it's, yeah. Virtual no COVID in Australia. Yes, Australia has done really well, hasn't it? But we all still socially distance now. Oh, that's interesting. My ex-husband has Alzheimer's. It's devastating. Oh, God, I'm so sorry, Anne-Marie. That's awful, isn't it? Yeah. Ali, Tristan. Hi, Ali. How are you? Can't wait for everything to open up again. Oh, absolutely. Yes, I'm going to be with all the teenagers at the door of Primark waiting to get in at 9 o'clock on the morning of the 12th. I'm not really, but yeah, just walking through town and it's all, everything closed up. I can't wait for everything to be just a bit of life back in the world again. I want to go swimming. I would like to go swimming. I'm meant to be looking for I want to go swimming. There's not somewhere that's not the local swimming pool, because I don't like swimming there because it's smelly and old and not very nice. Miss wearing my lipstick. Funnily enough, I was talking about makeup. This is great, isn't it? For just starting a thought, reading something, going off on a complete tangent. Yeah, amazing. And I've completely lost what I was going to say. Oh, lipstick. Yes. This last lockdown, these last few weeks, if I hadn't been filming for YouTube, I'm pretty sure I'd have given up wearing makeup. I don't like when I'm filming for my weekly vlogs, I look at myself in the viewfinder and I'd just rather look at myself with makeup on than without. Call me vain if you like, I don't mind. And I think just finally I would have given up this last lockdown wearing makeup. And I'm glad that I haven't, because I feel like it's kept me, I feel like it does make you feel better. Definitely. I have lost interest in clothes though. I literally put on the same pair of jeggings, 2 pairs of jeggings on a rota, and whatever top I come across in the cupboard. And I'm really not interested in clothes. And I keep thinking, oh, I must order some clothes and do a try on haul video. And I just can't work up the enthusiasm. I feel like as things open up and we get out a bit more, hopefully I will feel more like it. But I'm also sick of ordering clothes online. I want to go to an actual shop and actually touch things, actually touch things for sure. Kirsten, you put makeup on today. What is the occasion? Are you doing something? Are you doing something exciting? Are you going out? I do love masks for just going out and not worrying what I look like. Yes, absolutely. I feel like plus you don't see anyone when you go out anywhere. The post office has been so empty the last few weeks when I've been in there. Can you recommend them? Sorry, my skinny, healthy sister lost it at the weekend. I found her eating a giant chocolate Easter egg. Yay! She ate the whole thing. Well done to your sister. I hope she enjoyed it. Yeah, makeup definitely makes you feel better. The lipstick I was wearing was a pretty pinkish. That was Revlon. I think it's called Pink in the Afternoon. I got it on Amazon. Yeah, it's definitely Revlon, and I think it's Pink in the Afternoon. Not 2 pairs at the same time. Are there any positives? Positives to, I'm not sure what positives we're talking about, Melanie. Positives to, let me know. Yeah, actual shop, what's the shop? Yes, true. Positives of masks, etc. No flu, fewer colds and other seasonal viruses. Yes, there is that. I haven't had a cold, in touchwood, in 18 months, I don't think, which is wonderful. I thought I was getting a cold recently and I wasn't. I was talking to people, have been kind. There's been a wartime like spirit around here with complete strangers helping. Yeah, I think that's a real positive that's come out of the pandemic, isn't it? Definitely. There has been, I follow a couple of people on positivity accounts on Instagram where they give positive news and lovely stories about people helping each other and all of that sort of thing. I feel like the clapping for the NHS in the first lockdown, and I know there's people say we shouldn't be clapping them, we should be giving them a pay rise. Yes, absolutely. But I felt like the clapping brought people together when we were so separated in a really positive way. I really liked that as a thing, not just to acknowledge the NHS, but a thing bringing people together, standing on the balcony. And although we can't see any of our neighbours outside, we can see the houses, can't see them clapping, just listening and hearing everybody clapping. We're sort of at the top of the hill and we get quite a good sound from here. What's it called? There's a thing for how the sound travels, isn't there, when it's in a valley and up the hill? I don't know what it's called, but yeah, that I really enjoyed that. That was a real coming together of people. I thought that was really nice. I have a mask with the opening for straws, helps to breathe better. I had a mask on yesterday. Ashley and I went for a walk to Teignmouth and we popped into a shop. So I put a mask on. I wear just the surgical masks. And it had been in the pocket of a jacket that I hadn't worn for a while. And something had got inside it. It was like really itchy, sort of very fine fur. I don't know what it was, but it was so uncomfortable on my face. I wanted to rip it off. I had to go out to the shop and take it off. It was horrible, really nasty. I had my flu jab to make my immune system work because I hadn't had a cold for a year or so. Yeah, I had a flu jab this year. I haven't had one before, but they offered them to over 50s this year, didn't they? Oh, somebody left me a comment yesterday saying, Caroline, you're not 51, are you? And then something nasty after that as well, which I won't bother repeating. But no, I'm not 51. I'm 52. I've been saying I'm 52. B, why would I lie about my age? Is that a thing? Do people do that? Well, I genuinely don't understand why anybody would imagine I'd lie about my age. Or perhaps it was just a backhanded way of saying you look shit for 52. Frankly, I feel fairly shit for 52 as well. So, yeah. Anyway. I met a school friend for the first time in 18 months yesterday for a walk. We both had verbal diarrhea, so missed human interaction. Yeah, absolutely. I bumped into a friend in town. I think I talked about it on the weekly vlog, I think, about 3 weeks ago, and we stood at one side of the car park, each of Ashley's car park at work, and just could not stop talking for about 20 minutes. Just somebody to talk to who wasn't Ashley, or just it was just lovely. It was so nice. Anyway, I've been on loads of live virtual trips, Linda. I have as well. I've done virtualtrips.io. Really good. I did one to Perugia. I think I talked about it last, and I did a Paris food market. I think I've got one booked for later this week. I think it was somewhere in Croatia. I think. Kirsten, maybe we should plan cocktails for. Absolutely, we should plan cocktails. Lots of cocktails. Definitely cocktails. Right, I am going to finish off here. I'm going to set another one up for 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Oh, Dawn's just asked me a question. Having been through this awful time, are you going to change anything in your life compared to before? I sort of made my changes at the beginning of this year, Dawn, but I think certainly the pandemic gave me pause to reflect on my life a lot. I knew that I wanted to live a healthier lifestyle than I had been doing, and I think the pandemic made me live an even more unhealthy lifestyle than I had been doing previously, even though it was pretty unhealthy before that. For the first up till the end of last year, I wasn't living a great lifestyle, and I've made changes to that, lost a bit of weight, and I'm drinking less and eating more healthily and exercising more. And so I think if it hadn't been for the pandemic, I would have maybe not done that as soon as I did. So I'm very glad that I did. So that's one good thing from the pandemic. Anyway, if there's anything you'd like to chat about tomorrow or ask any questions, you can message me on Facebook or Instagram. Otherwise, I will come up with a loose topic that we can chat about, and I'm looking forward to it. Let's hope I manage to start on time next time. Thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed it, if you could leave a thumbs up, that would be fantastic. Thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.